right, here we go. First cold plunge ever. And just to put it out there, there's nothing I hate more than being cold. So this is how serious I am about good health. All right, we're going for 30 seconds. Oh, okay, this is horrible. Okay.
Get in, drop in. 1 second.
Oh God.
Okay.
I did it with my head on the
This is so cold.
That was 10 seconds.
That was 10 seconds? Merry Christmas! Yay, beach plunge!
I just can't get out that thing.
All right, that was great. Oh gosh.
Let the body do what the body is capable of doing.
I'm going to use a little Wim Hof to get me ready to record this video. Let the body do what the body is capable of doing. In all of my days of healing, this sentence is one that's been repeated probably the most out of any mantra or affirmation that I've said to myself. This is the mantra of the breath work that I have been doing for the last 10 months. It is a message that I've been sending to myself consciously and unconsciously. And they are the words of the one and only Wim Hof. With all that I am and with all that I have let the body do what the body is capable of doing. Welcome back to Stage 4 Thriver, where we embrace the integrative approach to healing chronic disease. Today, I am coming at you with my most favorite, biggest part of my everyday anti-cancer protocol, the Wim Hof Method. The benefits are absolutely scientifically backed, and we will take a look at that. But what I think is really amazing about this method is that you can feel the difference that it makes with just one time. Regular practice will improve your health, mental strength, and resilience. It'll show you just how much of a badass you are. The Wim Hof Method was developed by Dutch extreme athlete Wim Hof, also known as the Iceman, who is famous for his ability to withstand extreme cold. His achievements include climbing Mount Everest in shorts and running a marathon in the Arctic Circle barefoot. There are 3 components to the Wim Hof Method. They are breathwork, cold exposure, and mindset/commitment. The breathwork involves a rhythmic inhalation and exhalation, followed by a breath retention. This increases oxygen in the blood and promotes relaxation. Cold exposure refers to exposing yourself to cold environments, most notably cold showers and ice baths, also known as cold plunging. A crucial part of the method is the mindset and commitment. This involves mental focus and perseverance to push through situations that are uncomfortable for you. This mindset work begins with the cold plunging, but you'll be surprised how it extends into the rest of your life with the more practice that you do. One of the most interesting parts of this method has been supported by research, which has just come out recently, that says that when we push through resistance, overcome adversity, and do things that scare us or make us uncomfortable, we literally grow the part of our brain that is associated with willpower and the will to live. I was just a little mind blown by that. It turns out that overcoming adversity and facing our fears and overcoming obstacles is actually healing. Have you found that yourself in your journey? Let me know in the comments below. As with any new modalities that you try, it's important to see the scientific legitimacy behind them. So here are a list of just some of the benefits that the Wim Hof Method offers. I'm going to highlight the ones that we'll be focusing on today, ones that I feel might be the most relevant to you guys in the audience. Starting with inflammation, there have been a few studies that have proven the efficacy of the Wim Hof Method. One of them was in 2014, which found that the breath work led to a significant increase in oxygen levels in the blood and a decrease in carbon dioxide levels in the blood. This change in gas levels in the blood is associated with a stress response and lowered inflammation. In addition, cold exposure has been found to reduce inflammation in several ways. One way is through vasoconstriction, which reduces blood flow to certain areas and reduces swelling. Cold exposure also introduces cold shock proteins, which in turn reduce the amount of pro-inflammatory cytokines or proteins in the system. These little buggers are amazing. They do a ton of stuff all on their own. Here's another list of benefits of just cold shock proteins alone. They speed up wound healing, they protect the brain, they help the body adapt to stress. Finally, cold exposure increases norepinephrine, a hormone that has anti-inflammatory properties. Now, in that same 2014 study, some interesting information came out about the immune system. Participants practicing the Wim Hof Method showed reduced inflammatory markers than a control group when they were both exposed to an endotoxin. In some way, practicing the Wim Hof Method allowed them to modulate their immune system. There was also another study conducted in the Netherlands that found that taking regular cold showers reduces sick days by 29%. Furthermore, if you combine cold exposure with regular exercise, this same study found that sick days were reduced by 54% over a control group that didn't exercise that much and stuck to warm showers only. Other research has found that the Wim Hof Method affects stress and mental health. The breathing exercises, especially along with cold exposure, are thought to help reduce stress by activating the parasympathetic nervous system. It is the rest and digest part of the nervous system. So ways that we can activate that are through relaxation, meditation, massage. It's well known that relaxing and reducing stress levels is critical to healing. A pilot study published in 2020 found that practitioners of the Wim Hof Method were able to increase functional connectivity in brain regions that are associated with emotional control and regulation, and there was reduced activity in the regions of the brain that are related to fear and stress. Other research has found that cold immersion causes a 250% increase in dopamine and a 530% increase in noradrenaline levels. And this lasts for hours. Now, dopamine is often referred to as the feel-good hormone. It is associated with feelings of happiness, alertness, and focus. Noradrenaline is heavily involved in the body's fight or flight response. It's associated with attention, mood, focus, memory. Additionally, low levels of this is associated with anxiety and depression. Now, I want to stop right here and talk about the fight or flight response, because this is often the reason that's mentioned for people shying away from cold immersion. The idea is that activating this stress response is actually harmful for us and not helpful. Now, I can understand that this method would be contraindicated for a lot of people and that cold exposure is definitely not for everyone. And if you don't enjoy that sudden shock to the body, this method might not be for you. However, I do want to mention that there are some misconceptions about the sympathetic and parasympathetic response to cold immersion. I was actually in a state of adrenal fatigue before I started the Wim Hof Method, and I'm not anymore. So for me, it actually healed that situation.
It worked!
Let me explain how this works. Cold exposure in the long run ultimately balances the nervous system and it trains it over time to be more resilient. So when you get into the cold water and you have this shock to the body does release adrenaline. It does fire up the sympathetic nervous system. However, after that happens, the body has what's called a rebound effect, where the parasympathetic responds to bring back homeostasis to the system. The parasympathetic system comes back in, calms the body down, brings down the heart rate, and gives a sense of well-being. I can give personal testimony to this, that this is exactly what happens to me during a cold plunge, is that there's this initial shock of the cold, and then within 30 seconds, a wave of relaxation comes over my body, and it is palpable.
Yeah, get in that.
Face your fears. Just get it.
We have to trust that after the shock, adaptation will come. And this is something that I'm learning, that this is a reflection for everything else in your life. You're going to have to walk through the initial shock of it, and you are going to have to do a process of adaptation. And that, my friend, is where all healing comes from. It's also super helpful to just keep talking through this because I'm distracting myself. This is really cool.
You're at a minute.
Studies suggest that regular cold exposure can help modulate the nervous system. Now, for example, a study published in the European Journal of Applied Physiology found that cold water immersion after exercise ultimately led to an increase in the parasympathetic nervous response. Cold exposure, especially when brought together with the breath work, also stimulates the vagus nerve, which plays a crucial role in calming down the body's stress response and promoting recovery. So in short, in spite of increasing the adrenaline, cold exposure ultimately leads to relaxation, recovery, and a sense of well-being. I can feel some of you guys coming for me in the comments, and I just want to put it out there that, again, it's not for everybody, and if it doesn't resonate with you, that's totally fine. There are so many ways to relax and stimulate the parasympathetic nervous system that doesn't require, biohacking, essentially, that cold exposure is. That's why God made mountains and beaches. A little something for everyone, right? Moving on. A fired up metabolism is another stellar side effect of the Wim Hof method. During a cold plunge, metabolism has been measured to increase by up to 350%. I mean, these numbers are so big. Repeated bouts of cold exposure can increase the body's production of brown fat, or also known as brown adipose tissue. Now, this fat is deep within the body, around the organs. When the brown fat is activated and stimulated, it burns calories and it regulates our body temperature. Consistent cold plunging can lead to improved metabolism through the activation and growth of brown fat, even improved blood sugar regulation. Pretty cool. Now, this whole thing about the brown fat actually connects to my favorite part of the Wim Hof method, and it may be your favorite too, is its anti-cancer potential. We love that. Give me all the anti-cancer potential. When you put a lot of these physiological processes together, you get a recipe for some serious cancer butt whooping. And that, my friends, is my professional analysis. For real though, let's check out this one study that is from 2022. I'm just gonna read straight from the study and just let it speak for itself. So, I quote, "Exposure of tumor-bearing mice to cold conditions markedly inhibits the growth of various types of solid tumors, including clinically untreatable cancers such as pancreatic cancers. Mechanistically, cold-induced BAT, brown adipose tissue, activation substantially decreases blood glucose and impedes the glycolysis-based metabolism in cancer cells." So in other words, cold exposure suppresses tumor growth by impeding glucose, which is cancer's preferred food source. It basically cuts off its supply. So that's a lot. But I think that while scientific research is a huge piece of the healing puzzle, personal testimony is also powerful and holds a place. So here's mine. Gather around for story time. I began doing the Wim Hof method in September of 2023, after learning that I had remaining cancer that had persisted through treatment. I was about to go back onto chemo, and I knew that I had to maximize my efforts to change the terrain of my body. I did my first few weeks of plunges in my bathtub because I had to prove to myself that I was serious about it before I went and got a pod.
Lucy, are you gonna be my ice bath buddy?
Yeah.
But it wasn't long before I had an outdoor space set up because I could feel the benefits almost immediately. I knew that I had found my thing. Since then, I've plunged through the seasons and in all weather.
Look at this beautiful fall day. Snow plunge.
I've plunged in pools, creeks, waterfalls, and the ocean. Practicing the breath work has increased my lung capacity. My current record for a breath retention is over 3 minutes. The third pillar of the method is mindset and commitment. It's all about not giving up and persevering through the discomfort.
46 degrees today, which is 10 degrees colder than usual. I am officially scared.
No doubt I have integrated this into my life, and I know well that the cure is in consistency. I gotta say that a little louder for the people in the back. The cure is in consistency. I think that can be said for just about anyone going through just about anything. Few other things have given me the immediate feedback that they work the way that the Wim Hof method does. Nothing tops the feeling of well-being that this practice gives me. Nothing makes me feel like a badass more than getting into that frigid water. And I swear, every time I do, I can feel the healing properties. Without an ounce of hyperbole, the method has changed my life. I am living in a different body now than I was before I started. And I know that it has been a big part of leading me to cancer-free.
The cold is a teacher, and the method is a powerful metaphor for victory in any sort of hero's journey. The moment of doubt, the fear and discomfort, the resistance, breakthrough, the willpower and inner strength, the feeling of triumph. This is the experience of the method. And for those who choose it, they get to feel it every day. Never forget that you are the hero of your own story. That's your birthright. Claim it.
Both of us changing our pattern with every spin. Oh, kaleidoscope, glass bits and pieces from planets that I've never been. I'm fixated on every new shape you're making.
Wim Hof Method isn't for everyone. It is especially not recommended for those with cardiovascular disease, hypertension, Raynaud syndrome, or asthma. And also, it should absolutely be avoided during pregnancy. That said, if you're somebody who enjoys a challenge, testing your limits and overcoming obstacles, this one might be for you. If you want to feel better in a short amount of time and progress quickly, this one might be for you. If you want to tap into your mental strength, build resilience, and, as Wim Hof says himself, get high on your own supply, this one definitely might be for you. I believe that there's an ideal regimen for everyone. And maybe I found mine and it's different from yours, and that's okay. But whenever you find yours, hold on to it. Be consistent with it. Do it as often as possible. That's how you're going to see results, I promise. And at the end of the day, let the body do what the body is capable of doing. Until next time, keep thriving.
It's never not shocking.